Ellen, and today I'm going to be presenting my overview for my research project titled The Language of Liberty, the Practice of Control, Republican Ideals in the Age of Stalinism and Fascism. I chose this topic because I've always been interested in how political ideas, especially ideas about freedom, sovereignty, and the power of the people, have changed over time. As I learned more about 20th century authoritarian regimes, I was struck by how leaders like Benito Mussolini and Joseph Stalin consistently used the language of popular sovereignty. They claimed to speak for the people, even as they built systems that removed almost all real political participation. That contradiction led me to my main question. How can a ruler claim to represent the people while taking away their actual power? My project compares Italian fascism and Stalinist communism to examine how both movements borrowed Republican ideas such as civic duty, collective responsibility, and the principle of rule by the people and transformed them into tools for totalitarian control. To support this analysis, I drew on several scholarly sources that explain how these systems constructed political myths, mobilized society on massive scales, and relied on rigid ideological narratives to legitimize their authority. This research showed me not only how these systems operated, but also how they altered core political ideas in order to justify their highly centralized and unrestrained authority. One part of my research that really surprised me was how important visual propaganda was in both systems of government. Posters, movies, parades, and political rituals portrayed Mussolini and Stalin not just as leaders, but as symbols of the nation or the working class. What stood out most was how similar the imagery was in both systems, even though their ideologies were supposed to be very different. Both promoted idealized workers, loyal citizens, and heroic leaders, placed at the center of national unity. I also found it interesting how each regime used history to shape its narrative. Mussolini leaned into the Roman symbol and imperial glory, while Stalin used Marxist theories and revolutionary language to legitimize his rule. If I had more time, I would like to expand this research by looking at how schools, youth groups, and other cultural institutions help to spread these ideas. I would like to explore how the regular people responded, whether they believed the propaganda, ignored it, found ways to resist it. In the end, my research is important because it shows how easily political language, especially the language of freedom and popular rule, can be misused. By studying how fascism and communism twisted the ideas of sovereignty, we can better understand how democratic concepts can be manipulated during times of crisis. Recognizing these patterns is important for protecting democratic values today. Thank you so much for your time and listening to my presentation.